Hi, how's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7, back again. A little bit earlier than planned, to be honest. I thought maybe a video later on tonight after the Leeds United Newcastle United match up at Ellen Road in West Yorkshire with a tea time kick-off tonight. But it's been quite an eventful morning, has it not? And news has obviously just broken about Nick Waltermade. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I'll get it over time. You know what I'm like. But yes, club record signing. Finally through the door, speaks impressively, speaks well, speaks passionately, you know, very passionately, very knowledgeable on Newcastle United. Clearly been watching a lot of us over recent times. And yeah, very, very impressed. Eddie Howe spoken glowingly of him. He must be such a relief, man, you know, to go through all the pre-season without a striker. You know, you've got Willisula there still learning his trade. You've got Isaac sat at home, sat in his arse. Sulking in the corner because he's not got his own way. Well, he might get his own way off the back of this. Obviously, this is the Isaac replacement. Now, clearly, we still need to get a second striker through the door. That looks like it's either going to be, you know, Larson down at Wolves, or more likely, in my opinion, Johan Visser down at Brentford. Now, it's all got to sort of go through this multiple spinning blades, dominoes needing to fall, etc. But I can't help but think that come the closing of the transfer window on Monday, tea time-ish, that I think Johan Visser will be a Newcastle United player as well. But let me know down below in the comments what you think of our new German international striking sensation. Yes, that's what we're going to go for. Yeah, so Nick is the man. He is the one who's going to be scoring the goals. I wish he'd been down to West Yorkshire today scoring the goals down there, because striking is a bit of an issue at the moment, is it not? But, you know, for his debut after the international break, the Warfest that is the international break, I'm looking forward to that. I'll be there for that one. So, yeah, perfect. Also news today from the club and from, well, UEFA more particularly, that the Champions League fixtures, no less, have been confirmed. The schedule for the Champions League has been confirmed, and I had my fingers crossed, you know, beforehand, as I was saying about the bit of the Bobby Robson tour, and I wanted to play Barcelona, I wanted to play Sporting, and I wanted to play PSV. Well, you don't get your own whole way, you know, I'm not Alexander Isak at the end of the day, but what we certainly have got is 2 out of the 3, and 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as somebody once famously sang about. But, you know, looking at the fixtures after the draw was made, or the list of opponents, shall I say, after the draw was made, there was one team on there that was particularly of fancy to myself. And it harks back to the late 90s, being a youngster, and that Barcelona game. So I was hoping that we'd get them. I was hoping that we'd get them early, if not first game, at St James's Park, under the floodlights. And again, just like Isaac, I seem to have got my wish. We've got Barcelona first up at home for our fixtures in the Champions League. That match is going to take place on the 18th of September. I've just checked my note there. So yeah, start off with Barcelona. Then we have a trip to Belgium to play Union SG before playing Benfica at home. So Barcelona at home, Union away, and then Benfica at home. So those are the next 2 dates. They're following October 1st and October 21st. I've got down, and then into November, my birthday. Don't feel you've got to recognise that whatsoever. But November. And I certainly am getting a bit of a treat on these ones, because we start off the month on the 5th of November against Athletic Club. So a bit of Spanish opposition at St James's Park. And that at that time we'll have played 3 of the matches out of the 4 all at home. So hopefully by this point we're doing quite well in the new fangled group phase like it is now. Then we play Marseille. Now that's going to be a feisty one, from people that I've known that's travelled to that area before for games against that opposition. Not the friendliest bunch. So that'll be an interesting game for certain. And that takes place on November 25th. And then we're into December. So into the Christmas lead up. And yeah, there's a couple of Christmas crackers in there. We start on the 10th. Yeah, the 10th. We've got Bayer Leverkusen Bayer Leverkusen. Gone are the days back in the day when we had Shoreham Yobi and Loa up top against this slot. Hopefully it'll be the likes of Johan Risse, like I said, the aforementioned, and definitely our new German Nick. He's going back to Germany to take on Bayer Leverkusen with ourselves on the 10th of December. And then we go into the new year. European football into next year. And we start on the 21st of January. PSV Eindhoven at home. So European football at St James's Park into the new year. PSV, again, one of Bobby Robson's ex-teams. So looking forward to that one. A great deal. And then we complete the league phase of the Champions League with a nice easy stroll around the park, a chance of redemption against Paris Saint-Germain in Paris, the current European champions, the last game of the group phase, and that is on the 28th of January next year. So hopefully, when it comes to that, we're already there or thereabouts, and we can perhaps get into the next round. And who knows how far the European adventure could go, could go on then. But some good fixtures, well stretched out. I was quite glad that Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain are peg ends at both ends of the schedule, and I'm over the moon that we've got Barcelona early. Can we get a 3-2 again? Can Tino score a hat-trick? Well, we've got a Tino this time round as well, but it's probably highly unlikely. No doubt the club will move some heaven and earth to get Tino Asprilla involved. That would be absolutely fantastic. Some of the stars from back in the day, back then. Probably not Jon Dahl Tomasson. Yeah, after his recent comments and stuff. Probably not him, but certainly the likes of Asprilla, maybe Shea Given and the likes. It would be great to, have some of that team back at St James's Park for this fixture against quality opposition. I'm over the moon with, I said before in the previous video, with the quality of opposition that we've got, and also the travelling. So those away games, it's great names of Europe. Union obviously is a new one to most of us, but short journeys, so we're not having to go to Kazakhstan or somewhere daft before an important match. And speaking about important matches, there is the little matter, of course, in December of a certain derby. Them lot from down the A19 are finally, and I mean finally, got the act together, got promoted. So we will be making the trip down the A19 in early December, and that will come 3 days after the trip to Germany and Bayer Leverkusen. So perhaps out of all the fixtures, you might have wanted a home match before that game. So again, we can focus and get the extra training done, the extra preparation done. But we will be playing on at Bayer Leverkusen on the Wednesday night. And then we will be taking on the Unwashed down the A19 just literally a couple of days later on the Saturday. So far from ideal. But look, at the end of the day, we're used to this now. We have done it a little bit. Now we're used to games, not so much training, just the rest, recovery, and go again. So that's the way that it's going to be. This is what happens, and this is why you need big squads when you become successful, because such are the demands on the lads. Playing these, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy, but fuck me, what an adventure. What a European journey. Mag's on tour, and I'm already looking at flights and starting to think about, can I make this game or that game? Bloody brilliant. This is what it's all about. That's what the long slog last season was all about, to get to this season and to be able to play opposition like that in the Champions League. Games at St James's Park, travels and tours for all of us abroad into the continent, literally into the new year, into 2026, and who knows? He said the last fixture there at the end of January, but who's not to say that it continues on? And I think, look, if you can get 11 points out of those games, I think you're still in Europe come February and onwards. And you just don't know. A Barcelona at home, the noise, the excitement, under the lights. And you're looking at the likes of Union, which is a bit of an unknown quantity, but you'd expect us to be able to go over there and get some sort of result. And then the likes of Benfica at home. You know, at the end of the day, I've seen fans from these clubs on social media saying, you know, Newcastle United was the team out of pot 4 that nobody wanted. And this includes Barcelona fans saying, look, anybody but Newcastle out of that last pot of teams, that pot 4 group of teams. So that shows you a lot. There will be plenty, well, there will have been plenty of eyes on that Newcastle United-Liverpool game. The way that we went for it, despite having 10 men, despite all the obstacles, despite the lack of strikers, etc, etc, etc. And a lot of people have took notice and stood up of that particular game. So lots of credit to go to the lads, Eddie and the rest of the team. So yeah, let me know what you think about the Champions League fixtures and our new signing, Nick Waltermade. That's as good as I can get for the time being. So we'll leave it at that one. Club record signing. And it will mean that this dark cloud, this whole Isaac stench, can just literally be moved off. And, you know, I've had Liverpool fans messaging today, oh, you're gutted. Not at all. Just take him. But look, it's a simple thing, though. You've still got to make the bid. All this fucking big bollocks talk, pay the money and take him. I'm not asked. All the rest of the Newcastle United fans that I've spoken to, I'm not asked. We're moving on. We're getting the dominoes falling when we need them to fall. And that's it. Nobody is bigger than the club at the end of the day. So let me know down below in the comments about everything. Fixtures, sign-ins. Will Johan Visser make the swap from Brentford and London up to the North East and Newcastle United? Let me know down below. Subscribe to Magpie 24/7 and Magpie Ultras whilst you're on as well for me. And in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.